My friends, welcome back. This is Follow Your Path channel. I wanted to hop on here and share a direct message from my heart. I just got off an amazing phone call with one of my best friends that's been with me through every stage of transformation in my life, which I feel like is a super rare thing to have. But we've gone through all the different caterpillar into the chrysalis, into the butterfly phases, and he in particular has had an incredibly inspiring transformation. And so I was asking because it's been one of the most inspirational things that I've ever seen with someone in my life. How he really did that. We've had so many conversations about this, and there's been so many different facets to the journey, but one of the things that we were talking about today was if you had to distill it down, like what was the most important thing? What was the most powerful shift that was made so you could leave behind the alcoholism, sleeping on the couch at friends, and just really not going anywhere? And despite having so much light, despite always being the funniest person in the room, what he shared with me was something that I've experienced for myself that I always like to say is one of the most powerful things I've ever done. And that is changing the entire dialogue with yourself, changing the entire relationship with yourself. Now, what does that mean to actually do that? What it means is this: you recognizing that you are your own universe, you are your own sphere of source having an experience, and you've been given the keys. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Source wants to experience life as you. And when you realize this, you start to get that the relationship that you have with yourself, meaning the way that you talk to you, the way that you handle internal judgments, the way that you treat yourself, the way that you treat your body, the words that you speak out loud to yourself, towards life, whatever. That's what you get. And everything comes from that. So if you have a poor relationship with yourself, if you doubt yourself, if you hold yourself in low self esteem, you can literally only ever get reflected back that exact image and that dialogue. And it's like you're directing a movie that you don't even realize that you're the director of. So when we really dig into this, I say, well, what did that look like for you? How did that shift? And one of the things that he said, which again, also I've had the most powerful shifts in my life with, is when you can look in the mirror and you can look in your own eyes and you can say, I love you, and we're going to stop doing all the stuff that was hurting us, and we're going to stop it right now. It can be a powerful choice in that moment to never look back and say, I've got you the rest of the way. I'll never abandon you again. And we're going to take steps towards and jump into the most joyful, expanded, balanced, powerful, and in love version of me with me that we've ever seen before. I'm going to dedicate when I wake up in the morning to loving who I am, to dancing and co creating with the universe that you are. And that is a whole other trajectory that has a whole other movie tied to it, story tied to it. And if people could realize that, but here's the thing, you come from the ego, right? The ego is always lacking. The ego is always, I have to fix stuff. I have to get somewhere. I got to take these steps. I got to like work hard and just try to strive more. And it's like, no, if you knew how powerful you actually were, if you took a little bit of time to connect to that divine nature inside of you so that you could actually feel in your body this truth that I'm talking about, that you are it. The kingdom of heaven is within you. So you've got to go within in order to enter it. And to enter it is to love yourself radically and to realize that you are a radical life story, a radical love story of life itself. That is you. That is me. All of us. Given the choice to do what we will with that God force energy radiating inside of us, that we get to choose where we flow that, but unknowingly and in the shadows, we flow that towards judging the shit out of ourselves and doubting who we are, and thinking that the outer appearance is what truth is, and what the five senses are telling us is what is. So look, no, this is the same picture I had the day before, a month before. These are the belief systems that I boxed myself into. There's nothing I can do about this. And it's like that energy has to keep you in the prison, and part of the game is to get yourself out of that. And I've talked about this a lot on this channel, but I wanted to bring this through because here's the deal. Here's the opportunity in front of you. You have the power and the ability to, with your own unique sphere of influence in your own beautiful, radiant heart energy that is connected to all that is, to the cosmos, you can tune into that and you have superpowers. You can take over an entire room. You can fill an entire space with your authentic, radiant, loving heart. You can transmute the energies in an entire building. Just you being connected and present to your own heart, anchored in the moment, expressing your authentic self at the highest place. You have the power to transform everything in your environment. And so we were talking about this and we were saying, man, what a different experience it is to do this inner work, to come from that place where you can be of service, where you can be sitting on a train, right? A seemingly mundane experience. You could be standing in line at the DMV, you could be grocery shopping, whatever it is, but because you're so open and you're so in the moment and connected to your heart, that all of a sudden source can use you for anything that it wants to. You'll tune into somebody who's having a bad day and you say just the right thing to them to turn their whole life around, and you have no idea. You give a compliment to someone and that's been just dying and starved of kindness, and that puts the light back in their eyes, and then that touches all the people that they interact with the rest of the day. You have this ability inside of you to do that. And here's the thing. When you become the source of that for other people, you just get more of that back to you. And you don't do it from that place because you do it just to give freely. But this is when life gets exciting. This is when God will use you to do really incredible things. Now, when I used to drive for Uber, that's what I did. I said, universe, use me for the highest good of all. Use me for magic. Use me to bring the spark back into people's energy, into their life, because I want to see a world where everybody is lit in who they actually are, beyond all of the shadows and the distortions and the traumas and the pain. I want to see that. I want to experience that life. And so people would come into the car, and that intention and energy has been cultivated in there because your intention is your magic wand. And you can hold that conceptually, or you can actually embrace that and use it and watch that unfold for you. You are so powerful. You have no idea. I still don't even know the scope. And I've been doing this for a long time. And this is a very exciting time because now I feel like there's more energies available for this than ever before. And the veil is thinner than ever before. So I want you to realize, like, you become the source of that which you think you're lacking. And therefore you become it, and therefore it gets reflected back to you. This came up in another conversation with a friend where it was like, hey, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling isolated and disconnected and feeling like nobody cares, nobody reaches out, it's just me over here, like I have no support, you have to ask yourself, are you doing that with other people? Are you checking in with people? Are you being a good friend? Are you being the person who does that? And I think a lot of times, if we're being honest, we'll realize that we're not. But yet we're expecting that, right? So you got to become the source. Realize that it's you, okay? And when you become a vessel for that light, a lot of cool and interesting things happen. All of a sudden, you could be anywhere out interacting in the world, and you can have an incredibly powerful experience, a beautiful connection with someone. You make somebody smile. You make somebody's day or week or life even. You can change the course of somebody's life by staying present instead of up in your head cycling through your old bullshit. Like, let's move forward from that, because that is the branch going away from your tree where you lose your power, right? This is why the present moment is talked about so much, but you've got to cultivate that. You've got to cultivate a practice that anchors you into that every single day so that it compounds and you get better and better and you drop deeper in and it just becomes you. And it doesn't feel like work anymore. It's heavy lifting at first because you're not used to it, but our focus is so fractured and fragmented and scattered all over the place that we are working at such a minimal level of our capacity. And it's going to take a series of very powerful choices to say, from this day on, I will radically love myself. I will look at myself in the morning and I will see my beauty. I will see the cosmos in my eyes. I will see the divine potential that is inside of me to realize my dreams. I will allow that inner child inside of me to come alive and dream freely, and I'll make it happen. And all of life will conspire and organize to make it happen. This is the relationship that is opening up where you're not governed by anything out there. It's all you with you, and then everything is drawn to you. And I can tell you through extensive conversations with my brother that has just been, I mean, to see where he was, oh my goodness, to where he is now, it's staggering. And I feel the same way about myself. Like, I know that I can go into a room and light that place up if I'm being the real me. And I've especially if I've done my practice that day and I've really intentionally anchored in, oh, the goodness that that brings out. And it's fun and it's joyful and exciting. And to bring that energy to life every day is what we get to do. This tap into that infinite well of love, of service, of joy, and curiosity and excitement. Like, that's in you. That is in you right now. So any issue that you're having, anything that you perceive that you're lacking, if you feel like you're small and you don't have the ability to make this shift, I'm telling you right now, call it forth. Give yourself whatever experience you need to connect to your own divine nature and realize it's your movie, it's your story. 99.9% of you, I could have a conversation with. And I'd say, what is it that your heart truly desires? What is it? And most of you won't know. You're like, oh, I'm not exactly sure on that. Or maybe you know, but you're in such a strong place of, I've wanted that for so long, but I've never had it. And so it's like you created so much distance. You've allowed the five senses to dictate your experience. And that is the prison. That is the devil tempting you. That's the devil is just a polarity, right? It's the ego personification. It's identifying with materialistic uh, reality. It's saying this is what it is. That tempts you out of your peace, out of your divine knowingness of who you are. That takes you out of the kingdom. You no longer have the keys because now you're out here instead of in here. When you're in here, you got the full kingdom. You got the full thing. You got the keys. You can steer the boat. You can write the new story. But when you're out there and or you're up here, coming from the past, you got nothing. You got zero power. So it's like if you find yourself in that place of, I literally feel so small and not powerful, it's like, cool. Well, I know exactly where you are. You're out here or up here. All you got to do is shift it. All you got to do is shift it. And yes, when you've been eating sugar for a long time and you've been eating a lot of carbs and things like that, and you have a candida buildup in your tummy, and then all of a sudden you cut that out and you start having some apple cider vinegar and a little cayenne and you're in your intermittent fasting, guess what? That first week is gonna suck. You're gonna have intense hunger pains. It's gonna be tough physically. But once you've cleared that out, now you're You've reset your biology. You're in that place where you're not craving that sugar anymore. It's very similar with the ego part of us when we start to break these patterns that keep us rooted into that false identity, into the identification of the things going on out here. When we take the time to go within, that's the same process, because when you sit down at first to do this, it's going to be like, I got things to do. I don't have time for this. If I got this, I got to do that thing. If I don't get up and do this thing, I'll forget about it. If I don't write this down, I'll forget it. Like, there's a million things that part of your mind will start taking you through. But to sit down and start to like notice your own inner dialogue, notice what your thoughts are echoing of judgments toward yourself, or whatever the story is. Start to anchor in a new frequency of I am the creator. I am whole, complete, beautiful, capable. I have everything that I need to bring my heart's desire to life. And I have all of this organizing to help me with that, as long as I can keep my attention there. So I just wanted to hop on and share that. How are you talking to yourself? What is your true inner dialogue inner dialogue like? Do you feel in love with yourself? Do you feel that sense of you're the biggest supporter for you? Do you feel like you have your own back? Do you feel like you're quick when those judgments come in from outside of you, or when they even happen internally, you're able to get it out of there, and you're able to play a keto and twist it and maneuver it in a different direction? That, to the degree you're able to do those things, and you're noticing that your inner dialogue has become very supportive, you're going to see your whole life change. It's that big of a deal. It's everything. Again, because you're the source. You got to love yourself. You got to be turned on by you. You got to believe in yourself. And not from some motivational speaker lens, from the deepest truth. So you can get a reality that's mirrored of that love story that you have with you, back to you, where all the things you've ever desired are there. Because you're worthy of it. And you already are it. And when you know that, there's not much else to do. Things will just come to you. But put your focus on that place. That is what I work on with my clients. It's like, hey, by the time we're done working together, you're going to have an entirely new relationship with yourself, where you will extinguish the voice of judgment. Or at the very least, when it comes in, you're like, oh no, I don't give that any of my attention any longer. It's a big deal. I love you guys. I just wanted to add a share that wanted to come out around this, and I will see you again really soon.